Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Gilgo K. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we're going to be looking at the suspect, Rex Heuermann, the alleged Long Island serial killer. If you've never seen me cover this case before, I have a whole playlist for you. Please check it out. Welcome to all my moderators, patrons, members, subscribers, and anyone that's new over here, especially locals. Welcome to you as well. Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Okay, so if you didn't know, Rex Heuermann was back in court today. So I've been watching, for updates, like what happened. I know they don't have cameras in the courtroom over there in New York, but I'm always looking to see if the district attorney or Rex Heuermann's defense attorney are going to say anything. And they actually did today, very briefly, but we're going to look at that. We're going to look at some, news clips. We're going to read some articles as well about what the defense is asking for. So apparently they were handed over 7,000 pages or more worth of discovery, which is all about persons of interest, particularly because the defense would like to look into the police officer that investigators had focused on for quite some time in the initial stages of the investigation, who they say, which I've seen from a post on X, they say has the same initials as what was found on the belt, if it is WH. Obviously, it could be HM for Heuermann, or it could be WH, for Rex Heuermann's grandfather's initials. But we're going to look at all of that. If you're feeling confused, don't worry. There is a case background write-up in the description box for you as well. So if you just expand it, I'm just looking now just to make sure it's all there. Yes, it is. The Long Island serial killer is also known as the Gilgo Beach killer, and the Craigslist Ripper do you know that? He was initially called the Craigslist Ripper. An unidentified, now identified, Rex Heuermann, although there's still many more victims that they may or may not tie to him. Many more. The 4 I showed in the beginning are the Gilgo Four. Those are the 4 victims whose murders he's been charged with, Rex Heuermann, okay? So, just a quick one. They say the suspected serial killer who murdered between 10 and 16 people over 20 years, with the remains of the victims found between 2010 and 2011. So he was arrested in 2023. I mean, it took very long. We've gone over that before. There was a little bit of corruption between delays and all sorts of things. Special task force was formed, and then within a month, they'd already zeroed in on Rex Heuermann. So it's all very interesting, and I always like to keep a close eye on this case. I always like to say thank you to Catch LISK on X. His handle is Catch LISK, okay? Because he does such a great job at keeping this case in the spotlight. Okay, so what I want to show you quickly here is, hold on, let me fetch it. There we go. Okay. Ooh, sorry. Should have warned you. Trigger warning. Trigger warning, everyone. So they say Rex Heuermann, new evidence turned over. Defense questions former police chief James Burke's role in the Gilgo case. Now, if I just quickly show you here on X, this lady, Mary Murphy, actually said, accused LISK Rex Heuermann back in court after 2 months. His defense wants info about former cop from Massapequa Park who allegedly had the same initials. But obviously, James Burke doesn't have those initials, so who's that cop? The reason I've always wanted to know, I'm so curious, is because investigators were so focused on this other cop that apparently lived very close to Rex Heuermann. They didn't really look at Rex Heuermann. And then, yeah, we could speculate James Burke because he's a giant red flag. Of course, he's back in prison now, right? He's still in prison now, I think. He went back to prison. I don't know if he's out now in. He's been in multiple times. He's a giant red flag, okay? But who's this WH one? So they say as those, the same initials, WH, as those found on the belt at Maureen Brainard Barnes' crime scene. The defendant's grandfather also had those initials. Okay. So we're going to look at this, which is from the Long Island Press. I will make sure to link all of these articles and everything for you, as I always do, in the description box, right? Cindy says my dog's name is also Rex. So I've turned down the sound. I'm so sorry about that. Sorry about that. Hello to your dog. So, suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann was back in court on Wednesday. It was Heuermann's first appearance in court since February 6th. His estranged wife, Asa Ederup, attended the appearance alongside her attorney, Robert Macedonio, but neither gave statements. She arrived in like a black Mercedes-Benz, to support her husband, who she divorced quite suddenly after he was arrested, but as we've learned along the way, it's probably more for asset protection and things like that, right? Because she said she's going to, support him all the way through. She's waiting to see the evidence before she makes up her mind, which is the right thing to do because he's innocent or proven guilty. But we also have to think of the victims and their families, of course, and finally they have some answers. Finally, there's a suspect that's been arrested after all this time for their murders. So, and not all of them, of course, 4, the Gilgo Four, imagine all the others, because there could be 11, there's 11 total bodies found in the same area. Imagine all the other areas, okay? So, this was his first appearance since February 6th. I think that's last when we went live on this, actually. We looked at that. Right, so they say, neither gave statements. Heuermann wore a suit, and he was handcuffed behind his back. They put his handies behind his back. I don't know why. I don't know if they don't want him to wave at his wife, or does he pull the middle finger? Does he pick his nose? I don't know. Is this just protocol? But he was handcuffed. Hands right behind his back. Okay. The additional evidence turned over to the defense included 422 electronic devices and 388 leads on Heuermann. Michael Brown, Heuermann's defense attorney, announced he's seeking information from the FBI's investigation into the Gilgo case, which Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney said Brown would have to take up with the FBI. That's one way to say it. Just take it up with the FBI, okay? So, Deborah says maybe the cop that went with his girlfriend to swing at Rex's house and left the woman that was running around naked screaming. Ooh, you're going to make me go down a rabbit hole, Deborah? Maybe. So, let me know as well, in the live chat, if you're here live with me right now, if you're in the replay, let me know in the comments. Do you think that Rex Heuermann is just an opinion? We don't know, okay? Do you think he acted alone, or do you think that there were others involved? In my opinion, I think he acted alone, in my opinion, at this point, based on what we know. But you never know. You did Google what is his name? Beach Rolf, that guy. He Googled him as well, which is another alleged serial killer. Wow. Okay, so did former police chief James Burke play a role? Heuermann's defense team won't rule it out. So the defense is doing their job, of course. Brown clarified to reporters that he was not seeking FBI leads in the Gilgo case, but rather FBI information about former Suffolk Police Chief James Burke's involvement and alleged lack of participation with the FBI in the investigation. The Suffolk County Police Department, especially with Chief James Burke in charge, and the FBI were butting heads, Brown said. And to some extent, I think Chief Burke was suppressing the investigation and wouldn't allow the FBI to participate in it with their expertise. Asked if he viewed Burke as a suspect in this case, Brown added that Burke has a checkered history with regards to sex workers and referenced Burke's jail time for beating suspect Christopher Lube, as well as his recent arrest for soliciting a prostitute, a sex worker, at a Suffolk County park. So here, I think the defense has quite a bit to work with to poke holes in the investigation, especially in the initial stages, which is like over a decade of the investigation, right? It seems contrary to common sense that Chief Burke would not let the FBI into this investigation, Brown added. We received almost 3,000 leads on this case. From the leads, there were numerous leads that came into the Suffolk County Police Department suggesting that Chief Burke was involved in this. Also, if you prefer video format, don't worry, I'm going to read the article. They were going to look at video clips, okay? So just hang in there. Brown indicated that he may call Burke to the witness stand during the trial. Oh. Just so that you know, a trial date has not been set yet. So he's next going to be in court. We'll look at it now on June 18th. That's the date. So Brown, that's Rex Heuermann's attorney, also claimed that he filed a Brady letter to receive information on another suspect who lived in Massapequa Park. A former police officer with the initials WH. That's where I'm like, sorry, what now? Okay. The initials that were found on a belt. Bounding victim Maureen Brainard Barnes, whose murder Heuermann is charged with. Okay, Rex Heuermann's grandfather's name was also William Heuermann. Gus Garcia Roberts had written a beautiful article about this inner fighting with the Suffolk County Police Department and the District Attorney's Office under then DA Timothy Tierney. Brown said, "It is our belief that they had this other suspect with the initials WH." Oh my word. Brown said that they received more information on that suspect on Wednesday morning and added the defense is very anxious to look at that documentation. Despite the defense's claims, the evidence against Heuermann includes a DNA link. A male hair was found on victim Megan Waterman that was matched to Heuermann. Remember, this guy was busted by not eating his pizza crust. Oh man, and we're going to hear today clips from his former executive assistant who said, "I used to buy him that pizza." And she's just like in shock, like, wait, what? She said she thought that she was hallucinating. I see some people are saying, ooh, if you're going to speculate if someone else is involved, many people are like, the wife. Actually, from my thumbnail alone, people in the chat were already like, it's definitely the wife. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so, as you know, I always give her the benefit of the doubt. Okay, until we have any evidence to point in that direction, right? Despite the defense's claims, the evidence against Heuermann indicates a DNA link. A male hair was found on victim Megan Waterman that was matched to Heuermann. Other evidence against Heuermann includes the use of burner phones and emails, as well as search history, indicating an obsession with the Gilgo Beach case, specifically the 4 murders Heuermann is charged with. Judge Timothy Mazzei, who is presiding over the case, hope I said that right, Mazzei, said he would like to see a trial begin as soon as July. Oh, but acknowledged the defense has much evidence to go through. Heuermann will be back in court on June 18th for another hearing. So that is when I've scribbled that in my diary, and I'll be keeping a lookout again to see what happens, right? Okay, so here they say the case up to now. I'm not going to read through all of that because we've gone through a lot of this already. I want to show you clips and things. So, okay, we looked at the X post there. Here they said accused serial killer Rex Heuermann has returned to court for a procedural hearing in New York, also attended by his estranged wife. The 60-year-old father of 2 is charged with murdering 4 female sex workers whose bodies were found buried on a remote stretch of Gilgo Beach more than 10 years ago. Heuermann turned up to the Suffolk County Supreme Court in Riverhead on Wednesday morning wearing a black suit, white shirt, and navy blue tie. He listened intently to the hearing, which centered around troves of potential evidence seized from various devices related to the case. His ex-wife, Asa Ellerup, was also spotted pulling up in a black Mercedes outside the Long Island courthouse. I know we say it all the time. Okay, but does he look like he's being treated like Richard Allen? I don't think so. Look at him. I think he's looking at his wife there. Or his attorney. I don't know. Okay, so here is Asa Ellerup walking up to the courthouse. And there's Rex. He looks tired. Honestly, this guy looks exhausted. Is he watching Grizzly True Crime? Is he keeping up with the case? What is he doing? Look at this guy. Oh, my word. Ray, twice. Welcome. All right, so it says it comes just weeks after she claimed that her partner of 27 years is not capable of murdering 4 women. Do you remember that? That's what we looked at last. Okay, if you missed that, it's on the playlist. So Heuermann has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Ellerup also shares 2 children with Heuermann, filed for divorce 6 days after he was charged. 6 days? Whoa, after he was charged with the first 3 murders. Good reminders. But she still visits him in jail because she believes he deserves the benefit of the doubt. See, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. Okay, she believes he deserves the benefit of the doubt and attends these hearings with a documentary camera crew, which has got everyone up in arms. I know. Oh my goodness. Alexis says, my new bulldog puppy is named Grizzly. Is it Rage? Rage? After this channel. Oh my word. That is so nice. Thank you so much for naming your dog Grizzly. Is it called Rage? RH? Okay. And Withal said, I think the wife knew about the prostitutes, but not the murders. I think that's true as well. I think so as well. Okay, that sounds plausible to me. So, quickly here, they were getting to the clips. Ellerup, who shares 2 children with Heuermann, filed for divorce 6 days after he was charged with the first 3 murders, but she still visits him because she believes he deserves the benefit of the doubt and attends his hearings with a documentary camera crew. Remember that $1 million Peacock deal, right? Okay. Ellerup reportedly signed a controversial 7-figure deal with NBC Universal, Texas Crew Productions, and G Unit. 50 Cent, you guys. 50 Cent is funding it, all right? If you didn't know that, now you know. To feature in a series about the case. During Wednesday's hearing, attorneys discussed troves of potential evidence held on hundreds of devices. Oh, hundreds of devices, imagine. The judge said that he wanted the discovery phase of the case to be completed by July. Okay, so the rest we looked at. Now, let's get to some clips over here. This lady gives lots of good updates as well, as you see. Yeah, and then we hear from the district attorney. So let me boost it. It's from Fox 5, New York. Here we go.
Bianca and Chris, there was a 30 or so minute closed door discussion followed by a 5-minute conference. Heuermann said nothing out of the ordinary happened. That isn't, nothing out of the ordinary happened, but that is typical for this point in the case. As you could see in this video, Asa Ellerup, Heuermann's estranged wife, walked into the courtroom today. She wasn't here the last case he had. As we have reported, Heuermann, who worked as an architect, was arrested last July as he was leaving his office in Manhattan for the day. He does maintain his innocence after being charged with the murders of 4 sex workers whose remains were found near Gilgo Beach more than a decade ago. Today, prosecution handed over 7,000 pages of persons of interest cases requested by the defense, along with a hard drive with DNA results and various background checks. Now, the DA says a case like this takes time, and the defense says they're going to use that time to make sure they have everything they need before they go to trial.
This case sort of stands alone. So we're talking about a tremendous amount of material. The New York State Legislature made discovery reform. We have to comply with it. And so all of this information we have to turn over. So we will. But, you know.
I like how they're always like a tremendous amount. I'm sure it is. But you know, when they're like terabytes and they're all just quoting how much it is, and then they got confused in the beginning, just a tremendous amount of discovery, right? So this is the district attorney, Ray Tierney, who will be prosecuting the case himself. And then the defense attorney we'll hear from in a moment, Michael Brown. Mr. Brown, I know him as Michael. That's his first name. Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Mystique, thank you so much. You said the more I experience other chat groups, the more I just love this group. Amazing group of kind peeps here. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so let's hear some more.
No, that's not, when you're talking about terabytes upon terabytes upon terabytes of information, you know, it doesn't happen overnight.
And I'm not going to be rushed to go to trial. Rex needs the ability to have effective and competent counsel and defend this case. We want to look through everything. Remember the advantage that the government has in this case, folks. The government has had this case since 2010. They made an arrest in 2023.
Now they're set to meet again on June 18th. The judge hopes all of the discovery will be handed over by the end of July. No trial date has been set yet. We're in Riverhead, Long Island. Jody.
Okay, so we've got that update there. Then let's look at this one. Wait, actually, I want to show you this one first. Yes, let me just not, I don't want to miss anything. Let's go from here. Okay, let's boost it again. This is from Eyewitness News, ABC 7, New York.
Accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann appears before a judge again, this time for prosecutors to turn over more discovery evidence from Heuermann's properties. The judge wants it completed as soon as possible. Prosecutors say there were 15 disclosures between the last court date and today. Heuermann has been charged with murdering 4 petite female escorts in their 20s. The bodies of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello all found wrapped in burlap along Gilgo Beach. Today, prosecutors disclose evidence involving Brainerd Barnes.
Just today alone, we provide.
Quick pause there. Stefan says, I like the prosecutor and the defense attorney. That's going to be an interesting trial. And not televised, because they don't have cameras in the courtroom there, right? I would love to fly there and watch that trial. I wonder how long that trial would be. Oh my goodness, imagine it. Should have go to New York for 3 months. Wow, but it's going to be very intense. It's a very good team, if I could say it like that, from either side, right?
Provided the Barnes missing persons investigation from the NYPD, which is approximately 2,500 pages. We have about a 12 terabyte drive, a hard drive with regard to the nuclear DNA. We have digital evidence extractions from a number of the digital devices that were recovered from the defendant's residence.
Heuermann's wife, Asa Ellerup, also attending his court hearing. This as his attorney, Michael Brown, speaks briefly with reporters outside of court.
I'm not going to be rushed to go to trial. Rex needs the ability to have effective and competent counsel and defend this case.
Rex Heuermann is due back in court on June 18th. Meanwhile, Judge Timothy Massey wants all discovery turned in by the end of July.
Okay, now I want to show you this. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Got to click this over here. This, not that one, this one. This is ex-assistant of accused Gilgo serial killer speaks out about the charges against him. Okay, so let's hear it from this lady. I love the New York accents. You guys are like, butter boy. But I don't even know how to say it like a New Yorker. Butter. Even how the district attorney there is like, we're talking about, voluminous amounts of discovery. Okay, so let's have a listen.
Gilgo Beach, Heuermann has pled not guilty to the charges.
When you saw his name in the news,
I thought I was hallucinating. After I had seen that he had been arrested, they had all the video of the surveillance, and I knew exactly where he was. I mean, even the garbage pail that on the corner there, when you see the mugshot of him, I never really looked at him like that. And then to see him in court, in handcuffs, I was completely and utterly freaked out.
Sturman says she felt something bad in her gut.
Damn, it's like cue the dramatic, scary tone, right? I think I just need to brighten this up for you, but I can barely see it myself. Oh, that's too bright. Too bright. Okay, wait. How about that? We're just turning on the lights over here. Okay, here we go.
Gut when she took the job with Heuermann 7 years ago, but she needed a job because she was having financial difficulties from what she calls an involuntary bankruptcy.
But he offered me so much money, and again, my situation being rendered without any money, I took it.
what was it like working for him?
Okay, sorry. I should probably put clues on the screen, even though I did say it. This is former executive, you're hearing me type, assistant, okay? Assistant. That's the, of Rex Heuermann, of RH. Here we go. All right. That's who's speaking now. So, I'm going to go back here just quickly because I distracted you a bit there.
Mugshot of him. I never really looked at him like that. And then to see him in court, in handcuffs, I was completely and utterly freaked out.
Sturman says she felt something bad in her gut when she took the job with Heuermann 7 years ago, but she needed a job because she was having financial difficulties from what she calls an involuntary bankruptcy.
But he offered me so much money, and again, my situation being rendered without any money, I took it.
What was it like working for him?
I never sat down. I mean, I was constantly busy.
Did Rex ever talk about his personal life?
No. I mean, it was always about the projects we were working on and what had to be done the next day. And there was so much work. He cheated me out of my salary.
In 2021, the New York State Department of Labor found Heuermann owed Sturman $20,000 in unpaid wages.
And I told them that he was holding money for me.
In September, the DOL issued a judgment against Heuermann for not paying Sturman those lost wages.
He's obviously not in jail writing checks. He trusted me with everything, so therefore I trusted him. It's seriously traumatizing. How do you know who anyone is?
Wow. What, I mean,
that is just an excellent interview.
So, thank you. And about the lost wages.
Oh my.
I contacted Heuermann's attorney to see if he's paid those wages yet, and he just declined to comment. He said he wasn't going to talk about that. But Sturman obviously has not been paid up to this point.
What the hell? Offered her a big salary, didn't even pay. Like, okay. Nice. There's one other clip here. Is it this one? Wait. I think it's this one. Let me just see if it is.
Wife of the accused Gilgo Beach serial killer says she wants to give him the benefit of the doubt. CBS 2's Jennifer McLogan spoke to a neighbor in Massapequa about their conversations with her.
Yes, this.
Mail delivered, no response from inside the Heuermann home. Neighbors in Massapequa Park are curious after hearing Asa Ellerup, the wife of the accused serial killer, declare that her jailed husband is not capable of the crimes.
She said to me that she didn't think he did this.
Etienne Devalier, retired FDNY, has lived next door to the Heuermanns for 28 years.
That house is a mess, and he was spending a fortune on hookers. I told her to her face, and she said, no, he was. I said, yes, he was. I said, yes, he was. He was spending a fortune on call girls and wouldn't drop a dime in that house.
Damn, right? He's like, yes, I told her. Well, if the neighbor knew, it's plausible that the wife knew, right? That neighbor is like, he was spending a fortune on sex workers, not putting a dime into that house. That could explain why he never put any work into the house and why he never paid his former executive assistant. But I mean, this went on for years. The executive assistant only worked for him for a year or so, okay? So everything else is from way back. So, Archer Girl, nice to see you. Said, I really hope one day we'll find out the whole truth of old Rexy boy. He's definitely got some skeletons in his closet. Thanks for covering you. He sure does, right? I hope so. I'm not sure we will. Oftentimes with serial killers, we just don't know everything. If you think about Ted Bundy, Dahmer, Gacy, I wrote 4 serial killer books. If you didn't know, if you want to check them out, they're on my website, grizzlytruecrime.com. You can find all the links there. And there as well, there's always speculation that there's many, many more victims, right? Rexy55 says, I wish his name wasn't Rex. Sorry about that. Okay, so just this neighbor. Let's just look at it one more time, right? Look at this guy.
This is a mess. And he was spending a fortune on hookers. I told her to her face. And she said, no, he was. I said, yes, he was. I said, yes, he was. He was spending a fortune on call girls and wouldn't drop a dime in that house.
Wow. In her statement, Ellerup said, I will listen to all of the evidence and withhold judgment until the end of trial. I have given Rex the benefit of the doubt, as we all deserve.
And she also emphatically wanted me to express sympathy for the victims.
Robert Macedonio, Ellerup's attorney, acknowledged his client served Heuermann with divorce papers inside the jail.
You can go forward with your divorce and still not believe that your spouse of 27 years was capable of being a serial killer.
Despite...
Okay, the rest we know, and it's a little bit soft now. So now we're gonna... Is it this one? Okay, we're gonna look at this in a moment. I just quickly want to show you this Newsday article as well. So many things to always show you. Okay, I'll link it all for you so that you can read it yourself if you wanted to, but I know many of you do like it when I read it to you, so thank you for being here. Okay, Gilgo Beach killings, lawyers for alleged Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann wants James Burke's FBI files. This is from Newsday. They're also really good with these articles, you know, writing up all this information very quickly as well. Like he was just in court today. The attorneys for alleged Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann are seeking files from the FBI investigation into former Suffolk County Chief of Police James Burke, saying alleged criminal activity by the man who once oversaw the investigation into the killings should be provided to the defense during discovery. The new development comes as the former Manhattan architect appeared briefly Wednesday in a Riverhead courtroom. It really sounded like a very brief, like half an hour total, you know, with just a quick 5-minute briefing afterwards, which we did see. What you saw there from the district attorney and the defense, that was it. That was the briefing for today. Previously, we've seen a few longer ones. Jenna says, are you going to add some bangs to your bullet points? I mean, I'm inspired by that clip we just saw. I think I should. Sarcasm. Okay, so they say the new development, right? So Heuermann's defense attorney, Michael J. Brown of Central ILIP, said evidence turned over by the prosecutors make no mention of Burke yet. Our information and belief is the Suffolk County Police Department, especially with Chief Burke in charge, and the FBI were butting heads. To some extent, I think Chief Burke was suppressing the investigation. That we've read before, right? So the FBI and Burke could not immediately be reached for comment. Burke, a felon whose federal prosecution for beating a handcuffed suspect and covering it more than a decade ago left an ethical stain on the police department, was also arrested on a public lewdness charge during an undercover Parks police investigation regarding prostitution at Farmingville Park. If you don't remember that, it's also on the playlist. We did look at that. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney said that his office hasn't turned over any evidence regarding Burke since the defense's discovery request pertains to the FBI. I don't speak for the FBI. I'll let the FBI speak for itself. He's such a boss, that guy. Tierney said following the court appearance, obviously all the documentation that I have, I will turn over. Yes, okay. The discovery concerns come as the defense focuses its attention on other potential suspects in the case. On April 12th, Brown filed a discovery demand seeking information on a former police officer with the initials WH, who investigators once considered a top suspect in the case. See? That. I've heard of that. Amy Rader says, he's such a creep if you don't get weirded out looking at him. Right? I try my very best not to ever judge a book by its cover, unless they are, convicted criminals. Then we're like, damn, let's snark it up. Of course, Rex Heuermann is an alleged serial killer, but it sounds pretty bad what they have against him. So, they said a top suspect. The letter obtained by Newsday references claims that former Suffolk County District Attorney Timothy Sinney had focused on the officer earlier in the Gilgo Beach investigation, as detailed in an August 3rd, 2023 article in the Washington Post. Brown said he received files pertaining to that suspect on Wednesday, which revealed the officer's name to the defense for the first time. We're very anxious to look at that documentation, Brown said. This is James Burke, by the way. This is not the WH guy. Heuermann, 60, of Massapequa Park, dressed in a dark, wrinkled suit. With those little details, we like those. A dark, wrinkled suit. Did not address the court. State Supreme Court Justice Timothy Mazzei set Heuermann's next court appearance for June 18th to further discuss the discovery issues. Mazzei told Brown he would order subpoenas for the defense to obtain the documents. Tierney and Suffolk Assistant District Attorney Nicholas Santomartino said the prosecutors have turned over 15 separate disclosures since Heuermann's last court appearance in February, including reports from the NYPD's missing persons investigation into the disappearance of alleged victim Maureen Brainard Barnes. Santomartino said prosecutors focused their discovery obligations on a request by the defense to promptly receive leads from the police investigation into the killings. Since that court date, we've turned over approximately 388 complete leads, Santomartino said. Santomartino, I want to say. Thank you so much, Linda Wolf. You said, Lovey G mods in the best community on the internet, been lurking while working. Very nice. Lurk while you work. I like that. Thanks for being here. So Tierney said that includes more than 7,000 pages, and that's just this round of discovery, on other persons of interest. That's a lot. People should, that are following the Delphi case, they need to just check that out, because when they're like, oh, freaking Frank's memorandum, 136 pages. Well, here's 7,000 pages on other persons of interest in the 13-year investigation. He declined to say how many other one-time suspects that might include, saying only that it pertains to other names that were mentioned during the investigation, right? Okay, so other discovery items turned over in the past 2 months include lab reports and inventories, prosecutors said. Mazzei said he would like to have discovery complete by the end of July, but understands why a case involving 4 victims and a years-long investigation would take a year to get to that point. Think about it. Like this case, that he's like, okay, let's just have this all by July. I know it'll take long, but wrap it up. You know, compared to, I'm not trying to compare cases too much, but you know, like Brian Koberger, like, damn, it sounds like that trial's never going to happen. Bayo Babe says, I'm getting snarky in the carpool line. So they say, I think everyone understands the complexity, the volume, I should say, of the discovery, Mazzei told the attorneys following a 30-minute conference in his chambers. I want to get to the point where the people have provided all of the discovery. Then we can turn to Mr. Brown to determine how long he's going to need to be ready for trial. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty to first and second-degree murder in the killings of Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, Melissa Bartholomew, and second-degree murder in the slaying of Maureen Brainard Barnes. I hate it when they say slaying, but okay, collectively known as the Gilgo Four. The victims whose remains were discovered in 2010 were sex workers. Their remains were found completely nude and restrained by either tape, burlap, or belts, court records show. Discovery has included 12 terabytes of data, including a transcript of the grand jury presentation, 85 grand jury exhibits, autopsy reports, photographs from the crime scene, and the medical examiner's office. Search warrants and affidavits, prosecutors said in a recent court filing. That's a lot. Of course it would be, right? The defense was also given paperwork from the Suffolk County Police Department and its crime labs, as well as outside lab documentation, prosecutors said. Heuermann has been held without bail since his July 13th arrest. Of course, we know he's been writing letters to Keith Jesperson, the happy face killer, which doesn't exactly sound like what an innocent man would do, right? Just like, hey, do you get butter on your bread? Running to another serial killer, a convicted one. Oh my goodness. Okay, so they said the defense was also given paperwork from the Suffolk County Police Department and its crime lab, as well as outside lab documentation. Yes, Heuermann's been held without bail since his July 13th arrest. Prosecutors said that Heuermann had hundreds of contacts with sex workers in the years before he was arrested. He was connected to the crime primarily through cell site data, burner phone records, and DNA evidence linking him to the woman and the location where the bodies were found, prosecutors said. Heuermann used 7 burner phones over a 14-month period to do approximately 200 searches about the Gilgo Beach investigation, even visiting the website Suffolk Police created in 2020 as a clearinghouse for information and tips and for photos of the victims and to learn about their family members, including siblings and children. Tierney has said Heuermann's Chevrolet Avalanche pickup, which authorities said helped crack the case after a witness described it as being driven by a man who paid for services from Costello the day before she went missing, was recovered by the FBI investigators in South Carolina. Wow. Okay, so did we hear the lady? Because I've heard that clip a few times today. Did you hear where the former assistant says, I used to buy him that pizza. Or did I not play that part? I just feel like, did we not hear it? I don't know. I don't know if she says it right in the beginning here. Just hold on 1 second, please. Let's just make sure.
Accused Long Island serial killer Rex Heuermann better than most people. We are speaking of his former executive assistant at his architectural firm here in Manhattan.
And she spoke exclusively with investigative reporter Kristen Thorne. Kristen is here now with a look at this conversation. The whole story is fascinating to everyone in this area. So what did we learn from this?
Well, Donna Sturman, she's the former secretary for accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann. She is still in shock about all this, and she hasn't wanted to speak about it until now.
The whole thing is shocking. I used to buy him that pizza.
The irony is not
that. I don't think I played that. I used to buy him that pizza. The way she says it. I can hear the snark. I can feel it. I used to buy him that pizza.
Lost on Donna Sturman that it was DNA on a thrown-out piece of pizza crust that prosecutors used to tie her former boss, Rex Heuermann, to the Gilgo Beach murders.
It always kind of bothered me he didn't eat the crust, okay?
Sturman...
This lady always kind of bothered me that he didn't eat the crust, okay? Well, glad he got caught by not eating the crust.
Knew Heuermann's habits. She worked as his executive assistant for a year beginning in 2017. Prosecutors say a decade prior, Heuermann began his killing spree, murdering 4 women in 3 years and disposing of them at Gilgo Beach. Heuermann has pled not guilty to the charges.
When you saw his name...
There, we watched from there last time. Okay, so one more thing I want to show you is this, because I also shared this today on X. It was posted on April 15th, just a few days ago. So I just want to read this to you in case, speculation starts growing. I mean, it is always possible, but you never know. But they just explain it a little bit here. This theory that's out there now, okay? Also, Stefan said happy birthday to the Red Stiletto. So I missed that. Happy birthday to the Red Stiletto. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here with us. Okay. So, is Andre Sugar Bear Isaac linked to the Gilgo Beach murders? Shame, man. There's so many unsolved cases. Oh my goodness. 20 years ago, Wednesday, a landscaper cleaning the wooded property of a newly constructed home in Moriches, I hope I said that right, found the partial remains of Andre Isaac, a professional drag performer known as Sugar Bear. Investigators later used DNA to confirm the remains belonged to the 25-year-old from East New York, whose severed head ice skaters previously found embedded in the frozen Forge River on January 25th of 2003. Isaac's dismembered torso, dressed in a bodysuit and skirt, was found in Far Rockaway on December 17th of 2002, less than a month after he was last seen alive, shortly before Thanksgiving. In the decades since, questions have been raised about whether the unsolved murder may be linked to the Gilgo Beach case, also known as the Long Island serial killer investigation, partly due to the fact that Suffolk County Police included the victim's profile on a hidden page of GilgoNews.com, the department's clearinghouse for information on the larger probe. So that sounds interesting. Like, why put on a hidden page? But they go on to explain. If Andrew Isaac's information is included on a website set up by the Suffolk County Police Department as part of the LISK investigation, then why haven't they mentioned him in connection with this case before? Journalist Alexis Linkletter asked on the podcast Unraveled that explored the case. And more importantly, why isn't his information visible for the public to see? Police have said that they do not believe that Isaac's case is connected to the Gilgo Beach murders, in which authorities found 10 sets of human remains along Ocean Parkway in 2010 and 2011. Total of 11 bodies, actually. While searching, there we go. So that would be the 11th, while searching for missing New Jersey woman Shannan Gilbert, who was later found dead in Oak Beach. Before the official rollout of the website, Isaac's case was utilized as a test during the layout process and was briefly live on the site. You ever pick this up? It's very interesting, right? Because they're like, what's that doing there on that hidden page? Okay, they were sleuthing this. So they say, before the official rollout of the website, Isaac's case was utilized as a test during the layout process and was briefly live on the site. Police told the press in a statement when asked about the still functioning link to Isaac's profile on the police website. I mean, does this link work? Does it go there? It does. Okay, so wait, we've got to find our place again here. So if you navigate to the website not utilizing that link, that page no longer exists. Yes, so I've seen that. I've verified that. I couldn't find it. So they linked in that link. A screenshot of a page still hidden on gilgonews.com as of April of 2024 detailing Andre Isaac's case. Okay, Isaac's mother, Kim Jordan, reportedly believes that his son's murder is connected. Shame. So believe mother, her son's murder, is connected to the Gilgo investigation and said that she has been in touch with homicide squad detectives to discuss it. There are few details of the case publicly available, but his head was found with a bullet hole in it. He just went downstairs and got in a red sports car, and that's the last they ever saw of him, Jordan told WPIX-TV. I used to dream, have nightmares about his head on a platter. Shame. In the Gilgo case, 3 of the victims remain unidentified to this day. An Asian male who was wearing women's clothing, a woman dubbed Peaches because of her heart-shaped fruit tattoo, and the woman's toddler daughter. Rex Heuermann, a 60-year-old architect from Massapequa Park, was arrested last year and has pleaded not guilty to murdering 4 women, Megan Waterman, Amberlynn Costello, Melissa Barthélemy, and Maureen Brainard Barnes. Found dead in the brush in Gilgo Beach. They were all last seen between 2007 and 2010. Authorities have said that they are still investigating whether Heuermann, don't say it too fast, that it sounds like saying human. Heuermann may be responsible for any other of the other victims found along the barrier island that stretches from Jones Beach to Cap Tree. So some of the victims he has not been charged with killing were dismembered, with their remains scattered in different locations, similar to Isaac. Remains of Karen Vergara, who until recently was known as Fire Island Jane Doe. Do you remember that press conference we watched together? Where they finally revealed the name of Fire Island Jane Doe, Karen Vergara. Okay, were found near Davis Park and Tobay Beach. Peaches' remains were found at Hempstead Lake State Park and Jones Beach. Valerie Mack and Jessica Taylor were each found in Maniville and near Cedar Beach. All 4 were killed between 1996 and 2003. Prosecutors have not blamed Isaac's death on Heuermann, who is due back in Suffolk Criminal Court on April 17th. That's what happened today. So we've seen all of those updates. I just really want to go to that. Where's that link? Here. Okay, so here's the link that they linked in, which they say was a test, which does happen, I know, with websites, of course. It can happen that they just put that there, you know. But let's just quickly see what they say here. So I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying that their explanation also sounds valid and plausible. When people make websites, they sometimes put out things as tests. It's interesting what they put out as a test, though, right? Okay, so there's nothing else that's new here that we haven't read yet. Julian C says, do they already know who Peaches is? Not quite, but they did say that they are looking, from what I last remember, to contact Peaches' family members. So they must have something. They must, you know, they are starting to, there is rumor that she will be identified soon. That was actually rumored last time when they revealed who Fire Island Jane Doe was, which was Karen Vergara. Okay, so I think I've shown you everything I want to show you. I mean, the rest was just, you know, Asa Ellerup arriving and all of that. So we've looked at that. And if you've never seen, if you're new and you've to this case and you've never seen this website, it's called gilgonews.com. They've got victims, home timeline victims, Shannan Gilbert, evidence and archive. So you can go and learn a lot more over here as well. It's a really great resource. Now, just quickly to show you this belt. This is the belt that they were referring to that had either HM on it or WH. So it could be Heuermann or William Heuermann, could be, or it could be someone else's belt, or it could mean something else, or it could be that other police officer who was a top suspect, according to what we just read, that the defense now wants to look into whose initials were WH. So that's what we have. Giovanna's Pikachu says, let's see some ads. You mean like ads on the side over here? Like all of these ads. Yeah. There's not too much actually going on right now. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. All right. So that's what I have for you today. As I say, I will be sure to link everything, you know, that I've shown you today in case you want to go and re-watch it or you want to read it yourself. I'll do that. And so Rex Heuermann will next be in court. Pop quiz. When is he next in court? Who was listening? Who was it? Also remind me, June 18th, isn't it? I think it's June 18th when he's going to be back in court. So I don't think it'll be that riveting, but we never know. You know, if it's something, I always find it interesting. You know, I always find this whole process to the trial and the trial very interesting, and I'll keep you posted. And of course, especially if they manage to tie any other victims to this case, if they charge Rex Heuermann with it, that'll be huge news, and I will let you know as well. Okay. Yes, Crime Spies, I do know that, yes. But we like to look at the ads since I moved to Switzerland, because the Swiss ads are just classic. Love them. Okay, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Thank you, mods. Thank you, patrons, members. I know we're going to have a members-only stream again very soon, and I will see everyone. Thanks. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe, like, share. You can use the hashtags that are recommended to you in the description box if you want. If you know nothing about the case, just go and check out the playlist, because we've done a deep dive, okay? We looked at Rex Heuermann's life from when he was born in every stage, every phase of life. We looked at everything about him that we could find, okay? Yeah, even the cousin. Sources signal says cousin. We at one point looked at that as well. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. I'll see you again soon. Please know, go look at my community tab, look at my YouTube shorts, because I've got some updates there for you about that Oklahoma case. You know, that's where I keep you posted, okay? Okay, everyone, bye.